everybody, Sean from Movie Assault here, and it's time once again for another movie review, this time that was chosen by you. It's our Sunday movie review that you guys pick on a poll that I post every week. And this week, you guys chose Sorcerer, directed by William Friedkin, written by Waylon Green, uncredited rewrites by William Friedkin, and this is based on George Arnaud's The Wages of Fear. Movie stars Roy Scheider as Dominguez. It's one of the names he uses in the film. Bruno Cremer as Serrano. Again, one of the names he uses in the film. Francisco Rabal as Nilo, and Amadou as Martinez. Again, another alias. When I watched this film, one of the things that went through my head through the entire thing is this is a movie that could not be made today. It opens with nary a bit of exposition. It just lets the viewer put the pieces together. Today's movies have this tendency to repeat ad nauseum what's going on, and movies are made for people who watch their phones more than they watch the movie. This movie does not handhold at all. We meet our central characters through a series of introductory prologues, and it's really not until about 45 or 50 minutes into the film that the actual plot, if somebody asks you what this movie was about, that doesn't really start until about 50 minutes into the movie. But yet, all of the information that we're given in that 50 minutes prior to the plot beginning is crucial to really getting everything you can out of this film. One thing that I did like about this movie is that it's unapologetically adult in nature. These are not good people that we're introduced to and asked to follow through the 2-hour running time of this movie. One is a bomber, one is a church robber, one is a cold-hearted killer, and the other one is a fraudulent banker. But the set of circumstances that they're willing to take on to get out of the situation that they're put in as a result of their actions, it really draws you into the film. And while you're not necessarily cheering for them, you're kind of wondering what you would do in a similar circumstance. And I think that was what really enticed me as through the running time of this film. You were just wondering through everything that was happening to them, what would I do in this situation? Oh my God, I couldn't do that. What would I do? Would I be able to handle that? Then there's the production of the film. It is shot in the jungle, a lot of it. I think it was 5 different countries this movie was made in or filmed in. There's some extremely dangerous stunts that are performed. The set pieces that convey the level of desperation that they're facing. This is a really gritty, grimy, sweaty, and generally unpleasant feeling film if you're going by looks alone. None of these characters ever look comfortable in what they're doing. And there's a reason for that, because what they're doing, you shouldn't feel comfortable doing, except for one character, maybe. He sort of looks pretty comfortable doing what he's doing. And you may notice that I'm avoiding the plot. Yes, it's definitely part of the film, obviously. But the plot is just one of them in this film. The performances, the production, the direction, the cinematography, everything really makes this film what it is. The plot, when somebody tells you what the plot is, makes it sound like much simpler of a film than it is. And that plot is that 4 men who are each running from something in their past come together, and they have to work together to transport this nitroglycerin shipment in 2 trucks, 200 miles in the jungle, basically, to help an oil well put out a fire. That's the plot. I could say that and it sounds completely uninteresting, possibly, but the execution of this film is really what makes it great. I also have to mention the score by Tangerine Dream. You may not think that an electronic score, especially one from 1977, would work in this case because there's such an organic feel to what's going on screen. with the jungle and the lush greenery and the landscape and how it plays into everything. There's something sort of ominous, the ominous and pulsing tones coming from the synthesizers that Tangerine Dream uses. It just adds an extra layer of atmosphere to the film. It's really impressive. If you want, go and look up, there's a song called Betrayal, also known as Sorcerer theme. Look that up on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and just listen to it. And if it reminds you of Stranger Things, that's because Stranger Things music was inspired by Tangerine Dream. But I remember being a kid and seeing the trailers for this film and having that score, especially that Betrayal song, just sort of grip at me and go, wow, what is this? And the score does that throughout the entire film. I haven't seen 1953's The Wages of Fear, which is the movie that this is sort of an adaptation of. William Friedkin has said often that this is not supposed to be a remake of the Wages of Fear film. It is supposed to be a more faithful adaptation of the novel than it is a remake of the film. Either way, I haven't read the book. I haven't seen the original film, so I can't compare the two. All I can say is that I know that the original film is considered somewhat to be a classic of French cinema. This 100% to me is a classic film. It's been a long time since I've been so entranced by a movie from beginning to end. I just went, put the Blu-ray on, sat down and watched, and I didn't look at my phone. I didn't let the dogs out. I didn't do anything other than watch this film. It completely engrossed me. And I just really have to say that I saw this film once as a kid, and I got out of it pretty much what everybody else who hears the plot gets out of it. Oh, it's an adventure film about four guys traveling through the jungle with nitroglycerin, and they try not to blow themselves up in the process. But in as an adult, I can really appreciate what this film is, because there's a lot of subtext going on, and I don't mean to sound all what's the term I'm looking for? Snooty, film snooty maybe, or film criticky when I'm doing this. But this movie is just not your normal movie. You'll know about 45 minutes in when the plot kicks in, whether you're in for the long haul or you're just done. And I was in for the long haul. I loved this movie, and I highly recommend it to you if you enjoy film. If you're just somebody looking for an action film and when you want to sit down and turn your brain off, this is not the movie for you. You have to be engaged. You can't be looking at your phone. You have to be watching this movie from beginning to end and pay attention. It's not like a homework assignment. I trust me, it's enjoyable, but I don't want to ruin anything either. So I highly recommend Sorcerer from 1977, and I think one of the reasons it didn't do so well at the box office, a lot of people attribute it to Star Wars. Star Wars came out around the same time and sort of pushed it out of the spotlight. I really think it's the name of the film, because you hear Sorcerer and you're thinking a fantasy film or something. Sorcerer is the name of one of the trucks in the movie, and that's really it. The Wages of Fear, be it a better movie or not, it's a better title. And I think more people would be more interested to see what does that mean rather than hearing Sorcerer and just shutting their brain off. But whatever it is, don't ignore Sorcerer. Look it up. Buy it on Blu-ray. I have this Warner Brothers Digibook version, but it did just come out on Criterion, I believe, the summer of last year. I'm going to be upgrading, and this has an interesting ad for William Friedkin's autobiography on the back. But yeah, I'm going to be upgrading to the Criterion 4K, because this is head and shoulders above any movie I've watched so far this year and in the last 10 years. I loved it. So that's your endorsement. Thanks for watching. As always, if you've made it this far, I appreciate your attention span. All my new subscribers, thank you very much. If you want to see more content like this, all you have to do is just check the community posts. I post a poll every week for the movies I would like you to choose from for me to review on Sundays. And this is what you picked for me this week. So, as always, thank you and take it easy.